Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to this game's tutorial. Today is a fairly simple episode. Well, we had a thing over here, so we add this new box that we click on. This is the new loot menu, which we're going to take care of in the next episode, but we just put it here and we make it work. And the big part of this video is actually about making the research menu. And as you can tell, we now have our tradesman research, which is being completed as we speak. And it's pretty much just being duplicated as well because I had nothing else to test the scrolling on. But here it is. That's our research menu. If we click off, everything works fine. We can go in the game, go in the research, and we get pretty much the same feedback here. Other than that, guys, I think that's what we're going to be doing today in general. And yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Alright, today we are going to take care of the research menu. Now the research menu is something really easy because for the first time in a little while we planned out something in advance whenever we did our research menu. So let me explain to you what I mean in a second. We are going to turn off this tower stats menu by turning the alpha back down to 0. Now we will expand this by turning the alpha on 1. We have the research menu now. And this one is going to be, say, 700 in height. And what I actually saw with that is pretty much the exact same thing as we have inside of the game. So I'll go ahead and just remove the text, and here is what we're going to do. I'm going to save this scene, so Control S, add it over to my game scene. Then we're going to find our research menu, which is, it is in the bottom UI, research panel. Now, check this out. So we're going to right click on this, copy, head over to our hub scene, click on the research menu and paste. That's all we're going to be saying. Oh, not build, paste actually. Whoops. So Control V on the keyboard. And we now have this research panel. Well, let's take this research panel, enable it, put it just below the research menu. And here we go. We now have pretty much our UI. Okay, so it's really awful. In this episode, we're going to do a lot of cleaning up, and that is pretty much what we're going to start doing right now. So, the research menu is the one that has a gray panel. If we go under the research panel, this is the red panel. This one, I wanted to scale on the whole, I wanted to take the whole space. So, I'll put stretch on both axes like this, and set everything back to 0. Now obviously there is something wrong with this because I put it on stretch, everything is on 0. It should assume the same size as its parents, but it pretty much doesn't. And that is because over here the scale is not on 1, 1, 1. So let's just make sure we do that, put the scale on 1, 1, 1, and we end up with this result, which is fine. Let's keep cleaning this up. Under the research panel, we got the research list. Now the research list is not what we, it is not the container itself. It's something on top of that. So I don't think this one needs any modification for now. We'll modify it later on. Or maybe we can do it if a child force expand in width. Yeah, let's actually do that. So child force expand only in width. And as far as the preferred height, this is where we can actually change that. So say 150 could do the job. Make sure you never hit apply on this since it's actually going to reflect your modification in the game as well. You don't want to be hitting apply. We're just gonna copy and duplicate stuff. Okay. Now why is my width not being expanded? There is something somewhere that doesn't work. So let's check this out. Oh, it's over here actually. So on the research list, I want this to be stretched horizontally like this. And now this works. Or you know what, we can give it a small padding of 10 here and then 10 there. And this is the list, so we can give it another padding up here of -10. And that will do the job. Or you know what, no, that won't do the job. Forget about the vertical padding. You can have padding on the left, on the right, but the vertical padding is pretty much something that we are not allowed to do. And you'll see why as soon as we put the mask on. So we've got these two things, they're working great. Now, this is where we actually get to modify the look of this, because obviously this looks awful. This is too big for this space. And something really important to notice is that we cannot be moving this. We're not allowed to move this thing. I mean the order. We're allowed to move the objects, but we're not allowed to move the order in which they appear. But we can, however, add new stuff. We can, however, resize them. And that's pretty much what I'll be doing here. So let me just move that. We'll redo the whole UI. So I'm just moving the icon, description as well, duration, level up button, and the research progress. That's the boss. So the first thing I'll do is actually anchor this at the very bottom. Move it here like that. Make also sure that this expands on, not expands, but scales with the horizontal axis. So I'll just put that on 0, 0. This is going to take the whole place, basically. Maybe give it a width of 50. Why not? Good times. Now I'll go beneath that. The progress bar itself is also going to stretch like this. And if you remember properly, the way we actually rescale this is using this value. And right now we have the problem where this actually has an anchor in the center. We might want to be putting the anchor over here. So that's what I'll do. I will put the anchor over there. Something doesn't seem to be right though. Let me just fix it real quick. So let's put that on 111 again. And the anchor is now on this side. Obviously this does not stretch anymore, but it now has the proper width, so 480 in this case, which is pretty much this. This is 500, the research panel itself, and we have a padding of 10 on each side, so that's 480 with this guy. Alright, we are in the progress bar. Now if we modify this, as you can tell, this works the way we have it in the game. And let's also make sure that this is 50 in height. And no position in Y. So we've got our bar. Our bar is going to take the whole place, basically. Because why not? What else do we need to do? We need to be setting the level up button. So the level up button is something that is going to take quite a lot of space now. I'll put it anchor top right. So position X, let's give it a padding of -10. Position Y, padding of -10 again. Width is going to be 100 and height is going to be 75, 80. 80 sounds good. And that's our new level up button. Great. And now we have all that nice space to actually include the title and other things. But before I do that, I am going to actually do something with this duration. So maybe put it there. It really depends on what you want to do. To be honest, this sounds okay to me. I'll just bump up the scale a little bit, make it like 20. And the width 150 and the height like 50. Great. Okay, so what else do we need? The description. Description, I need it to be way bigger than it was, so maybe 75 in height. This is going to take the whole place here. I don't know, it's really up to you guys. So I'll be putting it here. And remember what I said a little bit earlier when I said you could not change the order of these because we do a get text, get component in children's. However, you could add new elements at the very bottom of it, so right here. And I can actually add the title of that research now. So I'll do title. This is tradesman. And I don't need to modify it by code. I mean, it's right here and I know the real name, so I can just input it. We're not going to change that text. So here it is. That's the tradesman research. Bump it up, duration goes down a little bit. Now the icon needs to be set a little bit better than that. So top right, anchor, margin of 10, 10, and then I said 80, I think, in height. Yeah, that makes more sense. And here we go. That is our brand new research panel. And the duration really annoys me. Let's put that on like 18. And let's make it something like red. Or we actually changed the color in the script, so that's not going to work, but still. Here it is. This is now our research container. If we take it, we duplicate it. Once we're done, we're like completely done with this, we can duplicate it. and as you can tell, it just goes down and down and down. If we head over to the preloader now, hopefully there is no error at all. This works. This works. This does not work properly because of the we don't have a mask, but we can fix that quite easily. But as you can tell, guys, this is our research panel. And there is a bug that you don't see because I don't know why it's not doing it right now. I'm going to reset the save. Okay, we don't have enough gold. So let me just get some gold and get some silk because that's what we need for this guy. We need currency gold, 5,000. And we need also 50 silk, so here it is. Let's boot it up. And start one. That is the only error we should be getting, and it is quite an easy fix. And for some, oh well, the other one are not starting because we're not actually calling an update container on every single one of those, which is a very good thing. The only reason it did that in the previous try is because they all are assigned as a tradesman from the start function, and if we try again, you're gonna see that they're all going to be updated. But that's an error we're not going to be getting once we have different research in there. So let's go back to the actual problem we had. I didn't double click on the error, but I know where it is exactly. It is under the research container. So I invite you to open up the research container. We're going to be patching this little bug super fast. And you're going to be able to tell right away what is the problem, basically. And it was somewhere here in this function. Do you see it? It is because, well, if I stop moving, you might actually have a chance to see it. So we have enough gold, we have enough silk. We start this probably works. This also works. However, when we're on these two lines, we're calling the game UI, but we're in the hub, so game UI doesn't really exist. And that is why we're getting a crash. Now, the crash did not cause any problem. We're doing a return right afterwards, so it doesn't really break anything, but I just don't want to see the error pop up in my console. So we'll do a if game UI that instance is is actually not equal to null. So if it does exist, if I can type, we're gonna go ahead and run the code below. And here it is. Now we should not be getting that error anymore. And that is pretty much it for this, guys. Oh yeah, of course we need the mask, so let's go put a mask on that. On the research menu itself, I will put a mask. So add component, mask, and we are good to go. We could also like give them a small margin in between each of them. So research list, vertical layout group spacing of say 5, 10, 25, doesn't really matter, it's up to you. I'll put mine on 5. Good times. And also remember, you have a panel beneath that you can actually remove if you wish, so I'll just go do that. Less rendering, why not? Start over from the preloader. Let's have a final look at this. And it's pretty. Okay, cool. Nice, so we've got this research out of the way, we've got the war table, we've got the stats that are all working. Now the share center is not going to be next episode. Next episode is going to be the loot. There is a missing hub object in there, and it's pretty much just selling currency and converting those currency. That's pretty much what I'd like to do, and I'm talking about loot, not currency, my bad. So before we finish this video, let's actually create another hub object really quickly. All we'll have to do is first I'll get rid of this menu by going under UI root, research menu. Under research menu there is the canvas group. This one is going to have a 0 now in alpha. Very well, the next thing I'll do is take my share center menu, the one that hasn't been done yet, duplicate it, call it loot menu. Just go in here, type in loot, so we know what we have to deal with. And okay, so we have our loot menu, that's good. Let's go outside of this, research now. Double click on it. This is what we're talking about. So this is the object I want to duplicate. I'll just take the one in research, duplicate it, call it loot, and I'll move it on this side. Why not? Good times. And if we open it up, you're going to be seeing the research waypoint. Now this is the loot waypoint. And we got to give it a nice angle like we do. So here's my nice angle. You choose it with the scene, align it the way you want. Make sure this is selected. You're going to go under game object, align view align view to selected. And I am wrong, sorry about that, that's the wrong thing to do. So find your angle again and do align with view, that's what I meant. And now your object is assuming the position and the rotation of your engine camera while you were looking at this. Right. What else do we need to do? Oh, under loot over here, you have to change the parameter. So you have the loot waypoint, this one is correct. But the research menu is not what we'd like. So instead of the research menu, you take the loot menu, you put it in here, and we're finally good to go. So try this for one last time. War table, stats, research, loot, and finally share center. Next episode is going to be all about loot, and the one afterward is going to be all about share center, or there might be two about loot since we're introducing that new mechanic where you can convert currency. We'll see, it doesn't really matter as long as we're progressing through this game. So guys, I hope you guys enjoy, I hope you like this video. If you have any comment or question, you can leave it in the comment section below. Other than that, please subscribe for more tutorials like these. We're almost done with the series, so don't give up, and I will see you guys in the next one.